I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark movies.
And I'm Ben Ayres, and I like them.
And this is Detect the Hallmark Podcast. Detect the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh, man. It's a good day, buddy.
It is a good day.
It's a good day. Fresh. We've all just graduated from Hallmark University, and it feels
year,
right.
New us, new degree.
New degree.
Hallmark
What'd you
University.
get your degree in?
I think it was in Meet Cutes.
Ooh.
I got my degree as a major in Meet Cutes.
I really like that.
A minor in hot chocolate dispensary.
Ooh, I like that.
Hot chocolate dispensary. I'm a whipped cream boy with a little bit of white chocolate and peppermint.
I know that about you.
And I learned that through Hallmark University.
That's exactly right.
We just made that course available. Actually, the speed at which you completed it blew our tops up. We had to make it going right away.
How many people do you have going through the course right now?
It's considering it's only been open for a week. It's been very impressive how many people graduated at the speed at which they're graduating.
It's the University of Phoenix of TV universities, and I say that having a degree from there.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this. This isn't these. Anybody who's receiving these are alumni. They've already gone.
That's right.
The work has already been done. Yeah. These are alumni swag.
This isn't about charity. This is about repping your university,
That's
your
exactly
swag.
Right.
Correct.
Ben Ayres, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. We got to meet in person at Christmas Con in New Jersey, and Brandon met you before I did, and I went up to Brandon when I got there because I was running late, and he goes, Benjamin Ayres. This dude looks a lot like he in person. This dude is just crazy attractive.
That's what I said. That's true.
And I want to ask you, Ben, how does it feel for Brand to think you're ugly on TV?
I think that feels really good, and that's sort of the way I like to go. Most people say you look lighter and better on camera. I like to look better in person, which is why.
Because that's the thing. Like on camera, you have a whole crew like working on you. Like their whole thing is like we're supposed to like amplify. Hard pass. Give me Ben Ayres in person via hug all day long and twice on Sunday.
The amount of times I have to spend, and it's probably at least an hour before every time action is called to just try to make it look worse. Really kind of do their job.
Yeah. Can I tell you what it is I actually agree with Brand. You look great both. But in person, I was like, man, this guy, it's because you're tall. Oh. And most of the Hallmark actors, love them dearly, aren't tall.
Little fellas.
And I think it's a camera angle situation is what I think it is. That's my working theory on this.
I think also it was nice to meet you guys in person. And I believe I said the same thing. You are way taller than I thought, and you're shorter than I thought. Your head belies everybody's was I thought you were 6'7". That's what I thought I was going to meet you.
You've got the head of a 6'7".
I have a head of that is actually accurate. I will say I got a hat for Christmas, and it's the first time I've ever received a hat that fit me.
That's right.
So it was a pretty big Christmas for me. That's how big my head is. I also have a weird torso, but that's neither that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. A lot to talk about since the last time we talked to you. You've done some movies and you've done some other things. You've started a college and whatnot. We'll get to that. I want to talk really quickly about the Lifetime movie that I saw you in because it's something I've never seen you in before, which was a little demon daughter lighting the house on fire. Yeah. That was different for you, right? Like that had to be a fun change of pace. What was that called? Like the Bride of Chucky? What was it?
Bad Seed 2. So they made the original
2.
Bad Seed in the 50s. She was nominated and won an Oscar for that. Then they did a reboot of it with McKenna Grace, who plays the child in that. And
she's fantastic.
She's fantastic. And she's, been doing a lot lately. And during the pandemic, her and her father, who's an orthopedic surgeon, decided that they needed to, in the downtime, try to write something. And they looked at all the projects she'd done, and they're the ones who wrote the sequel to The Bad Seed. And they did it more as a theatrical release originally, so it was very gory and quite intense. And then because Lifetime did the original one, they were like, well, we would be willing to do it if you could kind of change it up a bit. And I got a call quite last minute to fly to Vancouver to shoot that. And it was a very nice change of pace, compared to what I've been doing at Hallmark. And at that point, I had just finished the Christmas movie. I think I had just done You, Me, and the Christmas Trees. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm kind of done for the year. And then like last minute kind of got that call, and to get to go out and play in that world. But the funny thing was, it was a lot of the same crew from You, Me, and the Christmas Trees. So, it was like all the same camera crew, but everything was just darker. They're like, we'll just turn everything down. So it was really fun to get to kind of bring her vision to life, and work with a director I hadn't worked with before out of Montreal. It was cool to have that change.
Well, there is a car problems in both of those movies, so you got those similarities. So one car is a crash, one crashes on top of you.
When we say last minute, like how many days before shooting did you get that call?
Okay, so this is funny. The character was actually supposed to be a Cuban actor. Oh. So I get a call and they're like, they want you to come play this. He's Cuban. I'm like, I'm not Cuban. They're aware of that, and I'm like I'm happy to play it. Like I'll play any character. However, do they know that I'm not? They're like, they do, and I was like, okay. So moving forward, I just want to. Can he just maybe be, if he's a professor as he was, not? And they turn him into a Cubophile. He just loves Cuban culture. Okay, great. Yeah. Loves the cars of the thing, and that's kind of what they ended up changing it into. And I found out right before I got there, the reason it all happened so quickly and he was Cuban was because the role was written for and supposed to be played by Ricky Martin.
What? Oh my gosh. Man.
So here's the deal.
They're lucky to have you.
When you don't get Ricky Martin, we all know who you call.
That's right. I have said
Ben
for
Ayres
years,
here ASAP.
If I can't live La Vida Loca, I'm going to live La Vida Ayres.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. You have Ricky Martin type on your
yeah. You play a Ricky Martin type. That's what you do.
I've got the two things. It's like can play Billy Zane type and Ricky Martin type. That call was literally like Friday. I flew out Sunday and started shooting Tuesday. That was a fast one. And then I just did one. So when I met you guys at the convention, I had flown from Vancouver. I just wrapped a Fall Harvest movie, flew out on the Thursday, and then saw you guys on the Friday. So I had, and that one, because I'd already shot the Christmas movie, I did Long Lost Christmas with Taylor, and then got a call, coming back to Vancouver to shoot a movie. And I was like, usually we get one Christmas movie of the year if you're lucky. And I was like, well, what would we be shooting right now? It's going to be a Christmas movie. Like, no, it's Fall Harvest because there's still leaves on the tree. So that one I got a call on a Thursday, left on a Sunday, started shooting on the Wednesday.
Wow.
So they're very fast turnarounds, especially if it's, seasonal dependent or you're filling in for Ricky Martin. So it's like, just depends on the situation. But we had, I think 5 days where, there was still sun and there was no snow on the ground in Vancouver where we could shoot corn mazes and the leaves falling and all that kind of stuff.
So you've already shot a Fall Harvest movie for next
Hallmark
year.
is doing
This is new Hallmark, man. I don't know.
I know, man.
Yeah.
We're like a year ahead. I don't know what's going on right now. That's exciting. Because Fall Harvest has turned into not Fall Harvest. So the fact that we're shooting movies with leaves on the trees is very exciting.
This year's Fall Harvest, there's like one where a bunch of girls decide on a girlfriend's summer getaway. There's like one in Florida where the Pena Vegas are like getting in a rock band. Like there's like one Fall Harvest movie was a Taylor Cole movie. Like everything else wasn't autumn at all. So they're committing this year, committing to the bit.
which is good because it's a big, I think people love those movies and they tend to not make many of them every year, as you said. And when they do, it's not really fully about the Fall Harvest. So I think there are going to be a few of them this year, more than normal, which is great.
When you get, I know we got stuff to talk about, but now I'm just curious. When you get a call like that on Friday, leave Sunday, shooting Tuesday, are you just buried in the script for 4 days, or is that like I'll get to it on the plane, bro? Like you literally called me like on the plane. You're just like, let me give this a once through and see what it's like.
I would say 5 years ago, before Hallmark, that would have scared me. I'd be like, I'm not prepared for this. But now I sort of understand how it all works, and I can just kind of get my first week off book. I'll find out who my co-star is, and we'll kind of run lines and make sure that we run lines well before the first couple of days, or at least have the first 2 days very well prepared, and then kind of be working a day ahead or behind as you're on set. The real chaos happens at home. So I went from I'd already shot 2 movies. I shot a TV series. I was very busy in Vancouver this year, and I kind of was like, I was done for the year. I was ready to be home and do the things, and it kind of threw a real wrench in the plan to be gone for a month, and then go right to the convention. So it was more chaos in that capacity. And then once I'm kind of at the airport, going like, oh wait, I started filming soon. I gotta get this down.
You guys want to send me a PDF of that script? Just something I can get chewing on real quick.
And then they're like, we'll send it to you, but just so you know, there's a full rewrite happening.
Right.
So don't like memorize it too well.
But get the gist.
Be prepared to be Cuban, and you need to know that up front.
What's the quickest that you've had that a movie of yours has been actually turned around from shooting to premiering on television?
Well, it would be a Hallmark one, but I can't think of which one. Most of them can turn around quite quickly, I think of
a year is wild. The fact that you have a movie in the hopper a year in advance is impressive for fall. So,
because usually you're filming it, and like right when we're done, it's like we're then talking about it. We can't talk about it. I can't share who the co-star is, and all those kinds of things. It's the first time I've ever, it's been a year since that movie's aired for sure. Usually it's within a few months, and sometimes it's within a few weeks.
I think the quickest we've ever heard is Palahas.
I
think it was 2 weeks after they were done that
they finished on December 10th, and it was December 23rd aired or something like that. It was crazy.
That's crazy. I just sent Palaha and his co-star. They're filming at the Biltmore right now.
They are.
Yeah,
some hoodies.
It's an hour.
Just sent them this morning. Oh, is it? Oh, great.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out a way to get together, but apparently the Biltmore estate, it's like a very close set,
really
like more
tough.
closed than normal. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about Long Lost Christmas. Dan, do you want to bring up the scene of Long Lost Christmas that left you in stitches involving a Christmas tree on a certain date? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So there's a scene in Long Lost Christmas where you and Taylor, it's almost like you're stuck in a loop. You're at the Christmas tree lot, and one of you is like, I can't believe you don't have a Christmas tree. And the other one's like, well, that's why we're here. And then the other one's like,
it's December 6th.
It's 7th day. It's 7 days. So it's December 7th. How do you not have one? And then the other one's like, well, that's why we're here. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, we've got to move. Like, we can't.
You're like walking, and it felt as if you guys started the conversation and you're just kind of looping it, and they were supposed to cut it.
It felt like one of these 3 takes would have been sufficient, but it just kept
looping. Can we pull it up right now? Do we have that capacity to review it?
That would that's a better program than us.
I think that would be fun if you guys actually had moments like that we could be like, let's watch it, let's talk about that a little bit. But I do want to go back and look at that, because I remember walking into it going, because oftentimes you ad lib your way into the scene,
right?
And then you ad lib your way out of the scene. And I remember adding that bit, like, I can't believe it's December 7th and you don't have a Christmas tree. I'm like, well, that's why we're here. We're here now to get the tree. So I was like, I'm playing every scene because I knew the movie's got a lot of dramatic elements.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, Taylor, you and I are just like, we just agreed we're in a rom-com. Her other story is what it is.
Yeah.
So let's just have fun. I'm going to make you laugh, and we're just going to
That's great,
because the chemistry was there, and so we tried to just make each other laugh in every scene.
Well, it's December 7th. We don't have.
The thing is about December 7th.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's right. Yeah. I wish, you know what? Once we get wealthy off of this, which fingers crossed, we're gonna have a big board, a big like a plasma, as you will. Like we're gonna go to the big board, and then we can have a shot that they can see, and we can do that. Because I love that idea. That's a great idea.
That's interesting though that you ad lib your way in and out of a scene. Has
Is
anything
that
ever?
normal?
Yeah. Has anything ever made it to air that you're like, boy, I didn't think that was gonna make it?
Most. It does. Honestly, because I mean, you kind of need something in, right? Like, if you just start with the dialogue that's there, it can be a little stilted.
Right.
So you sort of are kind of just in the moment before, and I would say usually at the end for sure. And again, especially if it's a comedy, because it tends to be like funny little buttons you're adding, or odd little bits in between. but usually only for comedic elements, to be honest.
Yeah. So Hallmark is starting to lean into the comedy a little bit more. Like I have to imagine someone like you that's a really funny dude, like sees a Three Wise Men and a Baby and is like, finally, like we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the rom-com of Hallmark has always been like rom-com, like very light on the com.
Yeah.
But like they're starting to
it's more calm, CALM.
Right. It's probably like we're just chilling. Like you got to be getting like your name has to be on the list of people that can actually ham it up a little bit, right? That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, I don't know how it works with the lists. All I know is the phone call comes and you go do it. The great thing about what I loved about the Three Wise Men was just the fact that they wrote that, that they kind of came up with that idea. And what I love about the network is it really does foster creativity within. So you go there with an idea, Taylor and I are both really good golfers. So we're trying to kind of like develop a golf one right now, like just stuff where you can kind of go in with some ideas and oftentimes too, I'll get a call. They're like, oh, so-and-so is developing this project, but they want you to be in it. And that's now really starting to happen. Like I love the idea of this old school studio system that Hallmark is, which is every year you kind of get to do a couple movies and you're just with other actors that are your favorites. And, we become friends for the first time, but the fans get to see their favorites kind of like mix and match.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of developing ideas before this has become more of a thing?
Yeah, but they kind of haven't really gone anywhere. I've done some within Hallmark. I'm developing a comedy right now with, which is I'm very excited about. It's a TV series, and this could be a much bigger thing. I can't talk too much about it yet, but
just give us the whole idea, and we'll.
Well, I can tell you who we're developing it with.
Ricky Martin's hysterical, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he's great. So it's Ricky Martin, and he's a Cubophile. He's not Cuban. Anyway, so we got a fun show, a comedy outside of Hallmark that I'm developing right now. But I'm really hoping to this year to kind of do some more stuff within Hallmark as well. Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, I want a golf. I want a golf invite next time we're in the same town. Let's go play golf because I love golf. Like
how often are you guys in the same town?
We're in the same town all the time.
Yeah. Quite often. Yeah, I usually find we're in the same town.
Ayres never invites me. That's the thing. I'm just trying to crack the invite list there.
I've got a little GPS in his wallet. So the thing that's what I loved about because I knew Taylor golfed, and when we got Long Lost Christmas, it shot in a small town called Harrison Hot Springs in BC. And they're known for so that's become like a little joke between the two of us. Every time I see her, she'll get me a gift. Like I've got a hat with a Sasquatch on it or a shirt with Sasquatch. I bought her a little Sasquatch. So they've got statues of Sasquatch everywhere. And there's a mountain called Sasquatch Mountain in this town. So it's kind of this like fun little, maybe there was one spotted 50 years ago, or I think it's more because the mountain got called that. And it's a spiritual thing that has to do also with the indigenous culture there. But while in the morning, I saw it twice. You're waiting for your Starbucks coffee, and there were three guys in full army regalia with like lasers and things. And I'm like,
no,
gentlemen, what's going on? Where are you going? And they're like, we're heading out to find Sasquatch. I'm like, man, what? Just getting your latte and off you're going. Like, this is crazy that and there were, people do believe, and they'll come from all over the world and go out there, look for them. So anyway, we were there for 3 weeks, and we were at this resort, Natural Hot Springs, and her husband Cameron was there, and he and I golfed every day that I wasn't shooting. It was wonderful. And
wow.
then on the weekends, we would all go play golf. So yeah, it was a cool experience.
That's working right there, man.
It was great work. We rented boats on the weekends, like. Oftentimes we're all in the city and we kind of on the weekends kind of have different lives, but this was cast and crew were all together for 3 weeks. It was a much different experience I've had than on shooting any of the Hallmark movies.
Did they find Sasquatch? Did you get an update on
that? They actually did.
There.
It was actually kind of interesting. Yeah. And I saw Sasquatch the next day.
Oh, that's really cool.
Coffee. Yeah.
He was just walking in.
Didn't make the news. Didn't quite. It
was in a past life, I had a podcast where I interviewed people that were into paranormal stuff, and I interviewed a guy who believed that he was the one person that could communicate with Bigfoot. And his whole thing was Bigfoot wants us to be a peaceful people, wants us to lay down our guns, etc. So that's his whole thing.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna let, and I'm like, that's awesome. So don't you think, this is my question, and I wasn't trying to be a doink about this, but I was like, don't you think it would be more effective for Bigfoot to come out of hiding and just say that himself? Like, don't you think that would maybe, like, and he got very upset about that. He was like, no, I'm the chosen person from Bigfoot. How dare you think that? And
that podcast didn't last long. Believe it or
not. Didn't last long. But everybody lay down your guns. Bigfoot, per Bigfoot's request.
Requested it.
That's the one guy. Thank God that's the one guy.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like, take up your arms guy. Like,
I know.
Would be like, come on. Like, at least he's a peaceful,
it could be worse.
Liaison of Bigfoot.
I've always said that. Let's talk about Hallmark University. We're wearing our swag. If you're watching
Ayres
it,
has got him a slick shirt on there, and I want to, like, man, that is.
Those
are those deck the Hallmarks you can just get at the.
That's right. For the people that are wearing, for the people that are watching on Philo TV, philo.tv/DTH, you are getting a show right now of swag. It is looking great. Looking great. Tell me about this. How it got started originally and what it has kind of snowballed into over the last few weeks.
So my wife went to Queen's University, got her MBA there, and it's an Ivy League university in Kingston, Ontario. And she was wearing her hoodie the other day, and it just had the crest on it, or a couple months ago. And I just remember thinking, like, it's this cool crest. And then I was in Vancouver, and I was up for dinner with some friends, and one of my friends went to Harvard, and she had her Harvard hoodie on, and I was like, it almost looks like Hallmark, kind of from the side. And I was like, that's actually a really smart idea. And then I started thinking, I wonder if I could turn the crest into some kind of something that celebrates the rom-com world that we all kind of exist in, because in a way we've all gone to this university. And then I was like, well, how would I even get that made? And the cast driver of Long Lost Christmas, no, sorry, not Long Lost. The cast driver of the movie I just did, the Fall Harvest one, I get to talking to him, and he goes, yeah, when I'm not doing this, I'm a graphic designer.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, get out of town. I say, so I have this idea. Can I send it to you? And he goes, yeah. We went back and forth. Harvard says Veritas. And I was like, well, what can I put in the middle of mine? So originally it was Christmas. And I was like, it doesn't quite work. And then I was playing around with logos. And then I was like, we'll encapsulate it all with a snowflake, a heart, and the leaves, which is the falling of the changing of the seasons. But it's a maple leaf,
right?
Which is also like because
Canada.
It looks like Canada.
Yeah.
Well, because it shoots in Canada. So
right.
I was like, it shoots in Canada. The number 2s are always men, so it's like this little inside joke. And then the joke even goes further. The crest itself, part of it is pulling from the Sutton Place Hotel, which is where most of the actors stay when they're shooting Hallmark movies. So it's got all these like fun inside jokes. And all I did it for originally was to make some buttons for on set and to give a couple hoodies to some of the cast that I knew were some of my leading ladies that were in Vancouver at the time. And then I was like, it'd actually be a smart idea to bring them to the convention. So I printed like 600 of them and brought them to the convention, and they, it was like a fun little collectible item and everybody wanted one. And then because I was wearing my hoodie and I gave one to Taylor, everybody's like, well, how do I get a hoodie? And I was like, I don't know. So like the original ones I made were from this shop in Vancouver. The hoodie itself is $160, and then to get the print on it was another $30. So like these are over $200 hoodies. And I was like, well, I don't know how to mass produce out of Vancouver and ship these all over. So I then went online and tried to figure out how I can kind of get hoodies and T-shirts into people's hands so that they can also support and get involved with this. And then I was like, well, what I want to do also is donate all the money to a really good cause. And my neighbor here is a social worker. She works with a bunch of different women's shelters in Toronto. So once I started to get all these kind of ideas kind of percolating and kind of in line, I decided to open it all, because I kind of finally got it all done on December 31st. So it's been a week and 2 days. And I believe I've raised $3,000.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And I honestly, I was like, if I can raise $1,000 or $800, and it just blew up. And now, now we're working on, I've got 3 other designs for future ones. I've got a Valentine's one's coming out. So
cool.
I'll continue to do adjustments on it. And, I want to do some for specific movies and stuff like that. And I did one for you guys that I'm going to send you. So it's been a lot of fun creatively, and it feels nice to be able to donate these proceeds to a really good cause. And like I say, online, it blew up way bigger than I thought. But I think deep down knew that it was going to catch on because people were really into it right away.
It's a great design, man. It's a good idea, and it's a great cause. Like, come on, you're just nailing it.
How much? So this is I think it was a $40 hoodie. Is that right? Which is not bad for a quality hoodie. Well, how much of that goes to the cause?
So
what's the profit margin there?
You're asking for spreadsheets?
No, I'll tell you right now. So, because I got to cover my costs of doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the way it works right now, because I've never done drop shipping, which is essentially what it is, I get charged on my credit card every time somebody buys something. I get charged.
Right.
And then,
which is great.
And then it takes a while to process because it's got to go through PayPal, which I've never used before. It's got to go through Shopify, which I've never set up before. And then eventually these companies end up paying me, which I haven't even been paid yet. So I got to go through and kind of tally that up, pay my credit card off, and then the proceeds that are left are all going to this cause. So I'm not taking any money from it. I'm just kind of, at this point, we're just running it as a kind of a fun charity, and just wanted to support the cause and ultimately support people's desire to get to continue to support what we do, which I think, it just feels really nice.
But also, I do think that there's like a camaraderie. I mean, if you go to these conventions, like it's very different than a sports team. Like when you just, rep a Yankees hat or whatever, like that's this global entity. Whereas Hallmark does have this like more community feel to it. And so having something that represents you're a part of this very specific community makes sense. And quite frankly, I can't believe it hasn't really been done before. So kudos to you, man, for having the idea and doing something good with it, because it's a great idea, and it represents a lot of the culture that's kind of being built at Hallmark really, really well.
Yeah, no, I think I don't think I really appreciated the community until I went to that convention. It's hard to describe what that was like. I'm still kind of coming down off immensely. Taylor and I remember that morning, we were like, we're going to do this together. We kind of had our, booths next to one another.
Right.
I was sandwiched between her and Danica, which was awesome. My last 2 Christmas movies with my 2 leading ladies. And I remember that morning, we were a little late. Neither of us had done this convention before. So we didn't have a moment to kind of look out and see kind of how many people were out there. We got there late. They were like, we're ready for you to get to your booth. We dropped off our bags. We walked right out there. When that door opened, it was very overwhelming, the amount of people. And, I talked to Tyler later about it, because the first day I felt like I was Jack Black. I was just like, hey, I was so on, because I didn't know how to just relax into it. And I wanted to make sure everybody got the time and the questions that they wanted to ask, and a big hug. And it was exhausting in like the most beautiful way. And I just, it was like, it was like 15,000 people, and again, that was really what sparked it too. I was like, this is an incredible, heartfelt, warm community that are coming to celebrate these movies and what we do. And also to get to go over and hang out with you guys and see, I'm like, and it's this really cool Christmas market where you can go buy gifts and prep for the year. And, and every time I walked by your guys' booth, there was a huge party going on there. Like, I just loved everything about it. I don't think, and a few people may have tried to explain it, but until you've experienced it,
really hard.
It's very, 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 very special. Very special.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. It's that's the only thing I can say. It's just like so many people that like it's such a niche thing.
Yes.
Like it's not like, you go to a Comic-Con and there's people from all sorts of different types of projects.
Like Marvel and
right.
people that like all these different things.
This is like very specific and very like it's fun to kind of be in on it together, which is
it's like you're speaking a separate language.
Yeah.
entirely.
Totally, which is great. So do you have? This is fun. I think we could maybe start an actual school. Are you going to become a professor? Are you going to teach a class on Hallmark 101? What are we doing here?
I mean, I think really all you got to do is watch the movies, and you're going to get all the knowledge you need. But I mean, let's be honest. Maybe we can start something up. I was actually just thinking as you said that. I think you're about to say, "Do you have more?" But like. So I did a huge draw with my youngest daughter the other day. I was like, okay, I want to give away some stuff so everybody who buys an item gets their name put into. I've got this ongoing bowl of names now, and every once in a while I'll pull out some names and give away some stuff. So should we give away a couple of hoodies right now?
I love that idea.
My gosh.
I love
you guys
that idea.
Let's do that right now. I'm gonna go grab the bowl.
Look at this guy. It's happening in
got
real
the
time.
bowl.
Let's
do a real time draw. I got the names of the previous winners, but we put it in a big fancy bowl.
Wow, that was amazing. You went out one side and you came back the other.
Came in the other.
Wow!
I just did the whole thing.
Look at all that.
No,
December 7th already.
So yeah, every time somebody orders, I got to write down their name. I stick it in here. So let's do it. You tell me when to stop.
This is becoming a full-time job.
Stop.
There you go. Okay, first of all, yes, it has become a full-time job.
Yeah, that's true.
It really has.
You're retired. You're a retired actor,
That's
and
right.
now
You work for Hallmark
working
University.
for charity.
All right, who is it? If
And
it's
the
one of
winner
us,
is-
it's going to be great.
That's good. Heather McClatchy.
Heather McClatchy. Oh,
Dude,
salt
we
of the
know
earth.
it. Heather McClatchy. There she is.
Heather and I were just talking, and I will, by the way, cut this, give it to you so that you can post it, because there is a chance. I know this is wild. There is a chance Heather does not listen to our podcast.
Get out of town.
But Heather, I've been rooting for Heather, and so I'm happy that Heather finally won. That's really exciting.
That is good for her.
Do we actually know Heather?
No, we don't know Heather.
Okay.
But Heather,
Good.
I think
good on you.
Heather might be a new fan. Come
Yeah.
on over, Heather.
Come on over, Heather.
Heather might. I mean, I'm thinking the amount. Like I said, the amount of people. I'm going to do a little walk away.
What happened just now? Why did you leave again?
Well, it's just fun. It's fun at this point. It's December 7th.
Now it's just better
That's why
to
we're
come
here.
and go because I also forgot that I got a little book I got to share with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my next one here is dropping them all over the place.
Wait for it.
This is a big one. Oh, you guys know her and you love her, Jacqueline Lamond.
Oh,
Jacqueline Lamont. Come on.
Did you know
down.
that Jacqueline Lamont? She just won herself another hoodie. Or
Jacqueline, actually, we were talking just the other day, and she said that this would be a dream come true for her. So
Wow.
Jacqueline.
We're making dreams come true right here.
well, because she contacts you guys quite a bit.
all the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
All the
Jacqueline
time.
Last
Lamont.
one. What do you got?
Here we go.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one right there.
Okay. All right. That's the one right there. So
No.
Did we just win a hoodie?
people are going to say that is fake.
What happened?
Brandon Gray just won. And you know why? The reason
Yes.
he won is because he's got like 4 items. That is
You can't make it
well,
up, man.
you can decide if you want a water bottle, another hoodie, a t-shirt, whatever.
I
it
want
is.
Wow, I'm getting
Get your boy a green hoodie.
and
Or
I
the
can
tote bag.
and this is for the $200 hoodie, right? Is that my understanding?
This is for the $1,000 hoodie.
Whoa, dipped in gold.
gold.
Send us an
Dipping.
XL green hoodie. I want one of those.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not somebody who looks at myself on a regular basis and goes, "Man, God did it good this time." But when I'm wearing this hoodie,
You feel
I'm
like
like,
$1 million
I feel like $1 million. I feel
I'm saying you look like a big. I kind of want to come cuddle you. You look
Yeah.
cozy, cuddly over there.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Look at that. You don't have to do that. You got
Okay.
giant headphones.
Yeah, I have
on.
giant
Just-
headphones on.
Yeah.
I regret it.
That's why
I
we're
regret
here.
it.
Man, we appreciate it, man.
We couldn't have planned that better.
Did you say
if we-
something about a book? Did you say something about a book?
So over the course of the Christmas holidays, there are this. We always get into a couple books we'll continue to read over and over again, and this year was, of course, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh,
Oh, man.
This is
come on.
it's a huge one in the house. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a distant relative of Boris Karloff, who voiced. the original
Really?
Grinch.
how distant? What are
Yes.
we talking here?
So my great grandmother and he were cousins.
Wow.
Wow.
Rose Pratt was my great-grandmother. Her cousin was William Pratt. William Pratt was an actor who changed his name to Boris Karloff.
And why wouldn't you? You know?
Man.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, William Pratt works. But,
He was
you
in
know,
like all the Karloff was in like all the Frankenstein stuff, like Bride of Frank, all
Correct.
that stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's big time, man.
That's big time. So there's that book that I read, and then it was a new one this year, and it was one that sometimes you'll get a Christmas book, and you'll go okay, and you don't get a chance to read it before, so you experience it for the first time as you're reading it with your kids.
Right.
And every once in a while, as you're reading it, you'll go, "Darn it, this is genius! Why didn't I think of this?" And this year, it was, when is it going to be Christmas
I mean,
again?
come on.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know this book. This is written by Brandon Gray and Daniel Thompson. It's not.
Wait, is that the guy who just won a hoodie?
It's the hoodie winner.
It's the hoodie
Whoa.
guy.
Who
Yeah.
just gifted an extra large one to his buddy sitting next to him.
That's right.
No, but guys, this was a huge hit this year.
Great.
It's very smart. I love that you did all the holidays, because it then becomes a book that you read at all the holidays throughout the year. So it was very smart. And my youngest loved reading it, and she kind of has it memorized now. So
Well,
it really was a big hit.
thank you so
Nice,
much, man. Those are my kids. The illustration or the inspiration for those are my kids, and so I got to read it to them for the first time, and that was like just pure magic. So I'm thankful that you enjoyed it, man. That's fantastic. We're really proud of how it turned out. But thanks so much, dude.
Yeah, no, good, cool. Because I know that feeling. It's interesting when you never think about kids' books when you don't have kids,
That's
and then
right.
once you
That's
have
right.
it, and you start
Yeah.
reading them, you're like, ooh, you start thinking of all these ideas for kids' books. And I remember when like the book with no pictures came out. Have you guys read that? The BJ
Yeah.
Novak?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Genius. I
So
was so
smart.
annoyed at how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even I remember my eldest at the time, because she would have been like whatever 5 or whatever. When I started reading it to her, I was like, "This is a book with no pictures." She goes, "I don't want to read it." I know what you think of a book with, and I started reading. She said, "No." And I was like, "You have to say every word that it has to say." And she's like, "Go
All right.
on." And then it starts getting silly, and she's laughing, and I was like,
I
real
love it.
time watching her, and I was so annoyed at how smart it was that I
What-
didn't come up with it.
And what's annoying is I don't even think BJ has kids. That's the annoying part.
Yeah.
He's just smart.
Right.
Smart,
What
just a
a-
smart person.
Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
The
unbelievable.
worst. Do we want to do a little rapid fire?
I would love to do a rapid fire.
We'll each get to ask you 3 questions, which is different than what we've been doing because
They're faster.
they're faster and more random. There's no point to it.
Ooh. Okay, great.
Dan,
It's
would you
not
like to kick
Homer.
us off?
Yeah, I either want to know your handicap as a golfer or your best round ever, 18 holes.
Okay.
Ooh. So I used to be under 10, and now I'm back up to about a 16, 17. And my best round, I hate to say it, was rather inebriated on a huge golf trip with some guys down.
Ain't that how it
Downstage.
works, man?
It just, I don't understand what happened. I shot a 76, and it was absolutely glorious. And it was a match play against one of my good buddies. We are ferociously, we're great friends, but very competitive when it comes to golf.
I love it.
And it was like shot for shot for shot for shot. It was just it was unbelievable. It was.
That's that sweet spot though of having just enough to
Yeah.
loosen you up.
I don't know
but
what it
not,
was.
but not
It's
too
just-
many to forget the day.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's
So,
that sweet
yeah.
spot. That's that
Hey,
sweet
Good,
spot.
good question.
What's your go-to adult bevy?
You know, I was a big IPA guy for a while, and I'll still enjoy them, especially when I'm in Vancouver. I find, but a
Interesting.
nice red wine. I'm kind of into just having a nice red wine. You know, while I cook dinner, I like my wine at night. And also, if it's no wine and I've kind of done dinner, then I'll kind of end my evening with a small little glass of tequila.
Okay.
Okay.
Tequila.
Like a
Nice reposado.
Like a
reposado.
Okay, I
I
got
like
you.
a nice reposado. And Añejo is a little too sweet for me. I like a nice reposado.
Just a
hear
little.
you. A little something. That's right. You know,
A little like
difference between
a little, you know,
reposado.
it's like this. It's like this. Digga. About that much.
Yeah, wow, okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
it's probably a couple ounces. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You know the difference between reposado and añejo.
Of course I do.
You're a
One
bit-
is.
That-
I
you
don't need to
prefer the-
explain it. I don't need to explain.
It's
I don't.
Blanco, reposado, añejo. And
I
it is
don't want to
aged the
be
most.
accused of, like mansplaining or anything like that. Like, you all know, I know. Let's just all agree that we all know.
Since you said while you're cooking, what's the go-to dish? Like if you're trying, like you've never met your wife, now you're going on your first date with your wife and you're cooking for her, first time you're cooking for her, what's the dish that is the go-to?
So a go-to dish in that situation, I do these really good Buddha bowls. So it's got some, I will dice up a bunch of sweet potatoes. Okay. Get them nice and caramelized, toss them in oil, get them nice and caramelized. Then at the end, I'll throw in some crispy kale. So I'll throw in some kale and get it crispy. Then there's nothing better than baked red onions and a little bit of, and I'll do tofu as well. And then I do a tahini and honey dressing that you pour over top of it. And it's to die for. It's very healthy. And sometimes some chickpeas. That's like a very healthy kind of meal I would make. But my go-to are kind of boring. You know, it's again with the, I bake a lot of veggies and do a protein. That's kind of our meals at night.
Are you vegetarian? Are you vegetarian across the board?
No, my eldest is. She came home from school in March and was like, "It's disgusting. Why are we eating animals?" I was like, "We just do, and that's just kind of how it goes." She goes, "Well, I'm not doing it anymore." I was like, "That's fine." I said, "We're about."
How old is she?
She's 10.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
And she has not had nothing, but she tells me now, she's like, I'm probably not going to be a vegetarian forever. I bet I'll do it in high school, but I can't do it now because all the friends. But high school, you kind of get whole new friends and you get to kind of reinvent yourself. And I feel like that's when I'll reinvent. Like I'll just introduce some things. Anyway, I think that's what I'll do.
She's going to have a bite of a burger or a chicken tender, and she's going to be like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, well, she knows because over Christmas I made bacon, and she's like, "It just smells so good."
Yes, it does.
At least she's not walking around like looking at you and being like, "You disgust me. How dare you eat meat?" Yeah, at least she's like still like, at least it smells good. What's the last movie you watched that you were like, "Boy, I love this movie"?
Oh man, the one I go back to and I'll watch it every single time I'm on the plane is Jaws. It is shot for shot a perfect movie.
Wow.
I don't know, when's the last time you guys watched it?
It's been a couple years.
I have a theatrical poster framed of Jaws in my living room. I'm a huge, like Jaws is like a masterpiece. Like I've got that Casablanca and Maltese Falcon up in my living room. So like big Jaws guy over here. You're not gonna
So I need to tell you,
oversell Jaws. It's phenomenal. Yeah, really, really.
So love Jaws, and the movie we watched the other night, I watched with the kids, and we had a riot. Was Rush Hour.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, man, we laughed. It was great. And it's like, it's got some major inappropriate stuff, but we had a good time. And then my wife and I just finished. I don't know if do you guys watch White Lotus?
Oh, dude, man, Mike White is just a genius. Oh my goodness.
Second season was just glorious.
And Jennifer Coolidge is a national treasure. She's unbelievable.
Yeah, I was disappointed. The ending, I was like,
yeah.
I don't want to ruin anything, but that stung. It stung, and I only have one. There better be a twin sister that comes back, or I don't know if I can come back.
That's right. I'm with you. My last question. So you get invited by one of these big directors to do the next Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise.
Oh, wow.
But the only way you can do it is you've got to do your own stunts. So you see Cruise out there and he's skydiving and he's riding off he's riding these motorcycles and he's F-18 and Tommy Boy's like, "Hey, you're going to have to learn, like, pick one. You're going to have to learn how to skydive. Like, you have to learn it, and then we're going to rep it for 30 straight days. But you're going to it's Tom Cruise, Ben Ayres in Mission Impossible 9, Day of Reckoning. But you've got to do your own stunts. What's the play? Are you doing it?
I would love that mine is skydiving. All I have to do is jump and then just figure out how to look cool once I'm in the air. I don't even want to have to run as fast as I can towards the camera. He is just like, my limbs are too long. It doesn't look good. You need to be short and just little things to move that. But combat, when you're the longer you get, the harder it is. I'm like a long man. That's what everybody kept coming up with. Like, you're so tall. So, and I thought about that the other day, having to do stunts like he does. Like, good on him, but he's jumping from building, like, that's what I'm thinking about.
He doesn't have
from building to building.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't, but he's doing it, and it does make it more like the new Top Gun was amazing.
Amazing.
And I don't know what you guys think of the original Top Gun, but I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I went back to watch it in order to prepare for the new one.
What did you
And I
think?
couldn't finish it.
It
It's
doesn't
not
hold up
good.
at all. No.
So we have
all.
another project, Ben, called Take It to the Tape, which is like Mystery Science 3000. It's audio commentary tracks, so you can listen along while you watch a movie. And the first one we did was Top Gun, because we had never seen Top Gun.
Somehow I
And
missed
the new
Top Gun.
Gun was coming out, and we were like, let's do it for the first like, let's experiment with this. And it was a blast.
It's a fun movie to make
poke
fun of, but it's not a
fun
good movie. Yeah. But the new one is
I was like, what's all the
you
hubbub
know-
about this?
No, I know. And you know what happens so many times when you go for a walk in the house? This
love
is all of the dramatic scenes in that movie. Near the blinds,
Yeah.
looking out. I'm like, why are we always through the blinds?
But you gotta douse yourself. You got to douse yourself with sweat.
So
you
much
gotta
sweat.
be beads of sweat.
So
everywhere.
well, and of course, Val Kilmer's amazing in the small thing he does. So
Yeah,
I
he
ended up
is.
the first time. I think I got through 40 minutes of it. I turned it off, and then I was like, "What happened to Val?" And I had to go back. I had to go watch that documentary on him, and I was like, "God, like that." I don't know if you guys have watched his documentary.
not,
It's
no.
Dude, it's tough.
It's tough. It's hard. Yeah, but it's also beautiful to watch. But it's tough to watch, and that's why it's even more impactful when you see the new Top Gun, and his scene in it was choked me up more than it would have if I didn't know his story.
It's the best scene in the
100%.
movie. Yeah. So,
but what I thought was but the original Top Gun, I'm just like, get in the jet and shut up, And the new one now is why I love it so much, because they're in it and they're actually in it. They're actually flying it.
And there's
So,
actual stakes. It's not like, hey, we got to go do this
we got to
thing
do this
against
for Top Gun.
For Top Gun.
That's right. No, we're not doing it. That's right. We're doing it for the Top Gun.
Yeah.
And then the relationship also takes a bit of that. I'm in 100% in if I'm just jumping out of planes.
Okay. So, yeah, if that's the
Don't make me jump from building to building.
I got you.
You might crack a rib like Tom Cruise and almost
no,
died.
right.
He broke his ankle.
I thought it was
he literally breaks his ankle and then limps off and calls cut and shuts the production down. Have you heard that, Ayres?
Yeah,
He broke the ankle, and like, he's producing the movie. It's all his money. So he calls cut and he's like, shut it down. And everybody goes home for 3 months. It's crazy. I mean,
Hear me out.
That guy's wild.
Don't do your own stunts. But I also love that he does his own stunts.
Yeah. That's why I go. I go to every Mission Impossible movie knowing I'm about to see someone actually do the craziest stuff in the world. That's why I go.
Yeah. And he's doing those videos now on social media too.
Which one? Oh, yeah. The fake
like
one?
where he's like, hey, thanks for going to the movies. I'm going to skydive now.
Yeah. But I mean, what's nice is, and then as a director, like, you don't have to cut away and do the lame, moment where it's not the person and you can tell from the side or whatever. Like, you get to really stay on them, and it's exhilarating, and especially with the filmmaking nowadays.
You need to see the 9-minute thing of the new one that he's going to do. He's done the biggest stunt in the history of the world or whatever for the new one, and they have a 9-minute video on it. But I learned this, and it makes perfect sense because it is his money. No one else will pay the liability insurance on it. Like, he has to write the liability check for himself to do it. They start every Mission Impossible movie with the hardest stunt. So day one of filming is the hardest stunt, because if something goes wrong, they've not wasted. Literally, if Tom Cruise dies, they've not wasted 3 months filming the movie.
That's just forward thinking.
How crazy is that?
Okay, well, so on Bad Seed 2, when they have to crush me in the car, it's very similar. They, of course, shot that at the very end, so that if they killed me, they at least got all the stuff they need.
That's right. That's right.
So usually they film the dangerous stuff at the end.
Yeah. That's why Ricky left. He felt offended.
That's
by
exactly
that.
right.
That's what
That's exactly right. Well, that brings me. This made me think about this, which is, do you have any near-death experiences?
Well, yes, I was in a slight concussion coma when I was younger, actually, in a bad fight.
A bad fight?
That left me.
Yes. Fight?
Yeah, I mean, anyway, it was such. So that affected me for a while afterwards, and it was right before I was like 19, and I was taking off to Thailand. I was like, I'm just getting out of this small town, British Columbia, Kamloops, and I wanted to go travel, and then got this unfortunate incident, and I woke up in a hospital, and I would like put my head down like this and get these shivers all throughout my body. That happened for quite some time. And my mom was like, all these stitches in the back of my head are not going away to Southeast Asia by yourself. I'm like, I have the ticket. I feel fine. and I went away.
You did it.
I did.
Ben,
it was a little bit, but something happened in that whole incident that sort of changed my entire path. My commitment to continue down leaving, and also in some ways it actually led me to become an actor, because it was once I went away and once I realized how easily it can all end. There weren't a lot of examples and role models for me in Kamloops to do what I'm doing.
Right.
But it sort of opened up my eyes to, like, you kind of only get one kick at this can, and what is it that I really love to do? And what do I want to try to do with my life? And, it's like, at some point, it kind of led me to be like, I want to be an actor.
Man, I got to be honest. I feel like you're a good dude, and I feel like we're friends, and the friend in me just like wants to end it. And then the guy that hosts this show in me wants to be like, I want a blow by blow, play by play of that fight. Who started it? What was the beef about? But that was the last question. Rapid fire. There's nothing I can do.
That was the last
rules
question.
Are rules.
We'll end it there. I'll tell you guys off.
I'll
the
get
record
you some
next time I see
Reposado tequila, and we'll have that conversation.
Oh my
That's what we'll
gosh.
do.
All right.
Man, what a way to end it. But we're ending it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
exactly
rules.
right.
Rules are rules.
Tell people how they can
Rules
get
are
the
rules.
swag, support the good cause,
Oh yeah,
and all
well, I
that good
appreciate
stuff.
that. It is romanceuniversity.com, and link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio, my Instagram, and I'm sending you. What have I got? An extra large for you? I'm
XL
sending?
green hoodie. Yeah, man.
Green hoodie. All
Yeah.
right. Did Aaron get one? I heard there's a new. You guys
Aaron
got
got
Aaron
one.
there.
Aaron got
Okay,
a
good.
shirt. Brian got a shirt. We're supporting at as much as we can support
Great.
it. We're going to continue to do so.
Awesome.
Boom.
Perfect.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, dude. You're the
No,
best.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody jumping on board and really supporting this, because it's been really cool to get to see the the positivity.
Is there
around all
is
this.
there an end date for like this current campaign, or is that yet to
Well,
be
I kind of
determined?
don't know. Like, I've actually, there's I believe I'm sending, all the network execs at Hallmark, like, how do I get one? So I'm sending like 40 over there this week.
That's great.
And then I'm working with a designer now, today actually, working on our Valentine one. So there's going to be, like I say, I'm going to be making new variations of it. And then there have also been just incredible ideas that have been coming in. So
Great.
yeah.
Fantastic. All
Thanks,
right,
man.
brother. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you so
we'll-
much.
We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.